All right. I don't really know the words. Blah, 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 blah. I think I really know how to- Way to go.
That was awesome.
Way to go, dude. You need to get on the road, man. Stop wasting your time, man. You should start a
I should
Led
just be like-
Zeppelin cover band.
Dude, I should just do TikToks, man.
Well, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Well, you know what? Actually, we should go on the road.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you just don't appreciate your talent. Yeah,
should go on the
I
road.
know this, man, because you have this naturally gravelly voice. Yeah, I mean, you're just like pure grunge, dude. And no one can expect you to
gravelly.
do Robert Plant. I mean, that dude, he's just like full on
I know.
falsetto. You know, I mean, that's
Yeah.
like total. That's like a '70s thing, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, you keep it real with the dirty stuff. So that's
I
all that
love
counts.
Robert Plant.
Are you
Yeah.
flirting with Rob Leonard? Did I just walk into that?
Yeah, you did. You did.
You know what?
You did.
You should start a show because you are just you are like the ultimate smartass. I want you to know that
You know,
you are. It's beautiful though. It's beautiful.
I think about it when you call me that a lot. It's just that I just get, I just get mad at random stuff that has to do.
I noticed
and
that.
it just comes out that way. Like sometimes, I sit in meetings. I'm like, no, like that's not how it works. Like, no, that's not how it works. And
You people just need to stop talking. You're just wrong. No. And then sometimes you blurt out, you go, PC load letter? What the hell does that mean? So David, you should
so
start a TikTok
funny.
channel. TikTok channel just saying sometimes I get mad. And then, and then Mr. Rock and Roll here in front of Jimi Hendrix, you need your own TikTok channel where
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you spend the time to make sure that you know these different riffs each week means you've got enough material to do little short TikToks of that same stuff.
Oh yeah.
And if you string all that together, pretty soon you'll have millions of followers.
Maybe.
And then you can go to the I'm famous on the internet store to cash your check.
You know what? Okay, so I know. So here's the thing. I know that you guys are always like complaining. Where are billions of viewers and all that bullshit.
yeah,
I
that's
ruined
5
it all
minutes
over
in.
already. You know what? If we want to get to 1 million followers, I know exactly how to do it.
OnlyFans?
Oh,
You know how? No,
Tell
I
us.
figured it out. Just 1 hour of footage of different garbage trucks doing their thing. And we will have 100 million views. I swear to God.
No cats?
No. Listen, don't laugh. Okay, I'm very friggin' serious about this. Okay?
Serious.
That's why I'm laughing. Garbage trucks.
yeah.
Think I'm BSing you guys. I am not. Go look up garbage truck for kids. Okay?
Okay.
Or even just like garbage truck and then look for the video with the longest footage. It will have more than 100 million views and like millions of followers. So some waste disposal company or some really weird person that just loves videotaping garbage trucks doing their thing is making a killing. So screw all this IoT stuff. There's no money in it. No one cares about IoT. They care about garbage trucks.
All right, we're switching to garbage trucks. All that
next week.
Is that like? I remember our kids used to like to watch.
David,
our kids used to watch.
I'm looking it up. I am looking this up because, like, who would spend the time watching garbage trucks go? I mean, garbage trucks,
babies, toddlers.
Bob the Builder.
I'm telling you, dude. Parents turn this crap on to distract their kids, and boys love garbage trucks, man.
You're right.
Ridiculous. See?
118 million views.
Yes.
1 million views.
You thought I was, and so maybe we should just just have footage of a garbage truck in the background, try to see if we can get rid of the E rating.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously the little kids can't watch our show because Rob has a potty mouth. Right?
Yeah.
And we'll just talk about garbage truck IoT all day long.
For an hour. You're going to put a toddler in front of a screen. Why garbage trucks, though?
I have no idea,
cognitive advantage?
I have no idea, man. But they love garbage trucks. Even more than dump trucks. It's ridiculous. It's just.
You thought this was about cognitive advantage for the kids?
What an idiot! I deserve that. I deserve that. It's just that if the goal is, I'm gonna, I got things to do. I'm busy. I'm gonna stick my kid, and I'm gonna make him or her watch whatever it is. There's like longer, geekier videos. Like you can pull up of how are semiconductors made? Like how are wafers and solar panels made? Like better than garbage trucks.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah. No, it's a reflection of. The greater reality that while we're in our bubbles talking about all this geeky IoT crap, the rest of the world doesn't care. They want their garbage truck. They want their garbage truck.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm telling you, dude. It's just ridiculous. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about this week. I know that we did not plan at all, which I love. But
when do we ever plan?
Dude, I keep getting triggered by this term, metaverse, and people bringing it into the IoT thing. So, you guys want to talk about metaverse?
God,
that's like a Zuckerberg thing.
Yeah,
I think he's going to turn Facebook into the metaverse.
Oh, I know, but they always throw in IoT somewhere, saying, "Oh, you can use IoT, and then it's going to become the metaverse." So.
You know what, man? That's just so weird. It's so out there. It's so intangible. I think it's related to the Matrix, probably. Maybe if you're plugged into the Matrix, you could also be part of the metaverse as well. I don't know, or hive mind. Or maybe if you get taken over by the Borg, maybe that puts you in the metaverse. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
let's
go get some Ray-Bans with a camera, and let's just
yes. The funny thing is Snapchat beat them to the punch on that one. I remember my kids got the Snap kind of goggles. They made glasses that had a camera in them. I remember we were down in LA. We went to the Grove, and they had a vending machine outside with a bunch of Snapchat hipsters selling these Snap goggle whatever, and they were pretty cool. It was especially cool because it's almost like having a GoPro, basically. And so, so actually going to Disneyland and going on the Cars ride with the camera going with the roller coaster, that was pretty darn cool. So if what Facebook's doing can be that cool, plus sprinkle in some metaverse, maybe a little Matrix, I don't know.
And, and maybe we'll I don't know. Is it if useful? Is it too early? The bit that I was reading about was effectively holding an in-person meeting in the metaverse, where all of the participants are, virtually beaming their virtual particles into this joint space. And I'm like, isn't that Fortnite or another game
Maybe.
that the kids are playing today?
Or would you find yourself in a room with Morpheus? Is that air you're breathing?
Yeah, if you knew the people that I worked with, you would not want to go into any virtual scenario because you're not gonna like the room. Like I wouldn't do it. I'm like, no, not with you guys. Nope.
Yeah, so let's okay. I looked up the term metaverse. Okay, I mean I have an idea of what it is, but I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yes,
What is
tell
it
us.
in the
Okay, the
dictionary?
word metaverse is made up of the prefix meta, meaning beyond, and the stem verse, back formation from universe. Okay. The term is
Shocker.
typically used to describe the concept of a future iteration of the internet, or the intraweb, as David calls it, made up of persistent, that's a very technical, nerdy term, shared 3D virtual spaces linked into a perceived virtual universe. I kind of almost don't understand what that means, but let's just roll with it. So it's basically virtual worlds, and I think the latest incarnation, or at least the most recent notable one, is all this Fortnite stuff. But I mean, I think those are just video games. I don't know why they call them metaverse.
So with the metaverse, would you need to be wearing your Oculus kind of headset to be a part of that?
Apparently not.
Or
So
maybe that's what Facebook might want you to.
Well, they obviously want you to, because they're investing so much in all the VR stuff with Oculus. But I mean, crap, if you want to look at the very rudimentary, metaverse type applications out there, I mean, Sony did it a long time ago with Home. If you guys remember, I think it came out with the PS3.
Yeah.
And they tried to embed commerce and their own like virtual currency. I mean, if you think about it, Sony was very, very forward thinking, but it just didn't take off. And you can create an avatar, you can go around and, go shopping, go play video games, I mean, it was like a virtual world. It was a metaverse, right? And
I had The Sims on a computer that I put together. I mean, that was my metaverse. I mean, I had a guy, no hair, premonition.
Is the thinking that the real world is just too unsatisfying, and therefore we'll need to create the metaverse and go live there?
Yeah, but is that a surprise? I think, there's a lot of content out there that caters to unsatisfied people who are unsatisfied. I mean,
I guess if people spend all their day watching dump trucks, and garbage trucks, and thinking that's good, maybe their life is unsatisfying.
Why are you giving babies a hard time? I mean, it's like he's like only 1 year old.
Babies wrong with liking. This is a shot to the parents that do the garbage truck watching, and but maybe for us to crack, like 100 million views in a single episode, we should do a watch party and do like Wall-E and Idiocracy. And, and that's the episode. And we just look at each other's faces and make sure we have plenty of electrolytes so that we can get ready for the metaverse.
Yeah.
Maybe we should change the name of our show to Metaverse Coffee Talk.
Metaverse. Okay. That's really cool.
A/B testing. Let's see how it does.
Let's try it out.
I mean,
you know what? IoT is definitely long in the tooth, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we need to rope someone in that can come and argue for or defend the metaverse and why it's useful and why it's yet another term that is going to pull the IoT, because the IoT takes it from everyone. It's just like know something IoT.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
We'll find we'll find someone.
That's a really good point you're making, though. But and I guess that's really the question is how does it relate to IoT? But the way that a lot of the chip companies, and one in particular, portrays it is that it's basically this virtual world environment, and it almost seems like a outside in perspective. Meaning, you're actuating things in the physical world to affect some virtual simulation of a virtual imaginary space. But a lot of ways that's not what IoT is about, right? Because the going, and there's this conflation of digital twin with digital models or digital avatars in gaming, right? I mean, you wouldn't necessarily call a character in a video game, or even something that you're controlling in the video game, like a character, you wouldn't call that a digital twin, right?
No.
Right.
No,
But based on what I'm seeing on the interwebs, everything is now a digital twin.
I know. It has to be, because if otherwise you're going to get only 2 views on your YouTube channel. If you call it what it really is, then SEO is not going to pick it up. So you just call it digital twin or whatever the hell is next, right? And what might be next is metaverse. If you don't stick metaverse, you don't say you're doing metaverse. So in some way, weave some kind of.
Speaking of that, being immersed in that metaverse world, what did you guys think of the new Matrix trailer that came out?
I missed it. I mean, isn't like Matrix over? I mean, how many times did a dude have to like die or?
Oh my God! What
really or virtually die? Huh?
What? Oh, PC load letter moment happening here. All right, so the most important thing that came out last week was the trailer for Matrix Resurrections. So, as you know, when we last left our heroes, Trinity and Neo, of course, they died in the last Matrix movie. Well, Resurrection obviously means they're coming back. You should watch the trailer. It's going to be crazy. Doogie Howser's in there.
Doogie Howser. Okay.
He's in there. Yeah. I mean, it's...
Game over, man.
It's, it's like Mr. Anderson. The Matrix is the metaverse, dude. That was like the most immersive deal. And so you're plugged into your pod.
That's true.
You are jacked into that virtual world, even though you're in a pod somewhere creating electricity for the machines, your machine overlords. So that's kind of a thing. Also in news, since we're now the Metaverse Coffee Talk or the generic tech coffee talk, hey, what everybody think about the Apple event yesterday?
Oh, man.
The one you fell asleep on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I need someone to remind me what happened in there.
No, honestly, not that much. They are, one thing that I noticed is just everything that they're building on top of the Apple Watch is just going ballistic now, and they've come so far from that first version that was released, 6 years ago. It's incredible, right? I mean, it literally is the ultimate IoT, success story, if you think about it. I mean, can you think of anything else that's more successful in the quote-unquote IoT universe than the Apple Watch? I mean, look, the
Android
device
Wear.
does all kinds of crazy stuff. It's mobile.
So they have a bigger screen now.
Yeah.
Woo! And they've got, it looks like they're doing pulse ox monitoring, the blood oxygen or whatever thingy.
Yeah.
Which is timely for COVID, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It was a little bigger. They spent a lot of time talking about how you can smaller bezels, Yeah.
Rob, do you have the nice leather band from Hermes that costs twice as much as the watch?
No, what I have, because I'm a hip, is that, I make purchases on Instagram. And so quite some time ago, I saw deals for different leather bands that you can pop onto your watch. And unlike the Hermes one that probably costs a fortune, this one was like $20.
Nice.
Wow.
Straight out of Etsy.
But it sure does dress up the watch,
It does. It does.
So it makes a difference. So I think that was a good purchase. People notice it all the time and they think I'm rich or I bought the fancy version of the Apple Watch. I'm like, no, I'm just a poor person just like you who could only afford. Yeah.
So I have a question for our French audience. Is it Hermes, Hermès, or is it Hermes? Or
you're closer in the middle.
Hermes. Hermes. Okay.
Yes.
We're always going to screw it up. It's like any kind of. That's one of the reasons why I hate French wines. Is that I know I'm mispronouncing all the chateaus and varietals and stuff.
I always get triggered when I hear someone say Des Moines.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, dude.
We know you're not from Portland if you say take a left on couch, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't say that. Or in LA, yeah, I'm driving down Wilshire going west.
Yeah.
Or in New York, yeah, where is this? I'm Houston Street, and they know. Yes, they just know you're not from there.
That's how they know.
But,
living in Houston, we had our little secret deal. There's a major street there called San Felipe Street, but if you're local, you called it San Felipe. And so that's how they would know if you're an outsider. Kind of like in one of those Die Hard sequels where, Bruce Willis gets in the elevator and the guys refer to it as a lift, and then they instantly know that they were Euro bad guys.
Yes. There's about to be a murder in the lift and not in the elevator.
Oh, would you like into the lift? We're all American buddies of yours. Yeah.
That's like George W. Bush Spanish.
Hey, man.
Hey,
going
back to the Apple Watch and the and its IoT context. I think it's super cool that you have a consumer device that can give you, an easy way to get data, like your heart rate, like your oxygen levels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I was deep into the weeds of, and we know this, from the IoT school, that when it comes to sensors, there is a huge variant between the quality of the equipment and then the quality of the data that the equipment will get. Yeah. So I was reading about the Apple Watch when it comes to getting health data. And again, I'm assuming it's just, like temperature and oxygen, heart rate, et cetera, and being useful for consumers as a baseline and better understand, how their body works, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that there's a huge gap in being able to use that data for actual medical purposes.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that out loud just to see if anyone pops a comment for me to get more educated. Because from a sensor perspective, I get it. And I've seen it where, we have like one machine or, Rob looks to be in an apple orchard there. And it's crazy to see I have a piece of soil that got watered by the same sprinkler and I'm getting different readings. And the more expensive the sensor is, most of the time it's like, this was the most accurate. So I wonder if it's the same for, if we'll ever get there with a consumer wearable.
Well,
That's a good point.
Yeah, but you have to consider this. And here's the thing that I think is a lot of folks are missing. Okay, there is that fitness aspect, and you can have some inaccuracy there and deal with it, right? But what Apple's doing with these Apple Watches is they're actually supporting e-health as well, or health care applications, and they're also supporting research with it as well. And in order for that to happen, there has to be some degree of FDA grade or approvable capability on the watch, and that's one of the things that is Apple's advantage, is that not only do they have the ability to drive the economics to put these high quality sensors, as you put it, and silicon into a very, very small device, they're also able to invest in getting those FDA approvals for all the medical and healthcare related uses. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff. You would have disclaimers really big everywhere that you can't use this for, let's say, heart research or whatever, and so the thing is they've obviously set the bar really high, and as they're pursuing those aspirations, they're enabling a lot of other, let's say, non-critical but very useful and fun applications on its tailcoats. So it's that's what's pretty impressive about what they've done with what originally everyone thought was an ugly looking, basically it was a smart, what do you call it, iPhone on your wrist. And, with everyone complaining, oh my God, it's not circular.
Oh,
It has to be circular, otherwise it's not a watch.
that's right. It's not a watch, but it's not circular. Yeah.
Yeah, to all of you guys that said that crap back then, you were wrong. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, one thing I want to say about those sensors and the quality of them is one word. It's called calibration.
Yeah.
Because you don't know for sure if the information it's giving you is accurate until it's calibrated in advance.
Right.
Taking us back to the Matrix, it's like the guy's eating steak, and it's like, how do you know what steak's supposed to taste like? It could taste like chicken for all I know in the Matrix. Hey, by the way, so if you guys will look here, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put a little hops bud here in front of me. You see how big it is? So it's
wow.
It's harvest time now. And so I'm in my hops field, and it's funny. Lots of this is one of the few ones that still has stuff up there. Most of them are clean naked and have been harvested. And so back in Yakima, Washington at Loftus Ranches, they also own a great brewery. It's called Bale Breakers here. And what's cool is during this harvest time, obviously they put things in a kiln, they do all this stuff, and then ultimately they're sending the stuff off to brewers who are going to make beer. But they have something special here for those of you who are fans of kind of that Beaujolais time of the year in France. It's called fresh hops beer. And so it is not going through the process that normal hops goes through and everything. They're making beer right from fresh hops. It tastes amazing. I had some last night. It's really good. But you can only get it for like a 2-week period during harvest.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So pretty interesting. Little trivia there.
It's drinking on the job.
Yeah, a little trivia there, tying in beer, but tying in an analogy with Beaujolais because it's a similar kind of thing.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Wow, yeah, it's really amazing. That's such a cool backdrop. You should make an official Zoom background.
Oh yeah, true.
That.
Well, you got to keep the movement because it looks alive. As the
No, you can do a whole video
really
thing.
nice.
I think. Yeah, you can do a video thing. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's pretty breezy here today.
I can tell because those things are called. Is it a bush?
Because the hops, they're on trellises.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I've
actually spent yesterday with my compadres putting out sensors in a Fuji apple orchard. And so putting those everywhere, and luckily we had coverage. So we're using LTEM, and
cool.
We're primarily doing, moisture sensing, or, trying to, it's a combination. You'll do soil moisture, and then you'll do temperature and humidity and a few other things to kind of get that evaporative figure that you want to, ultimately what you're trying to do is you want people to turn off their automated irrigation systems that are mindlessly, or people who are just going out and just watering with abandon, and say, hey, let's let the sensors tell us what to do, right? And where to do it specifically so that we can conserve water. And not just for sustainability, obviously it's for saving money, right?
Yeah.
It's not as big a deal in Washington. I think water goes for around $6 per acre foot up here, but down in California, I heard it's in San Joaquin, it's like $1,000 per acre foot.
Yeah, because we don't have any. That's why.
Yeah. And so the things that I'm learning up here and making happen here is you can think of as kind of like a test bed to have our act together to go try to help out ground zero in California for sure.
Yeah.
Because so conservation and money and it all ties together. I know a lot of times people try to disconnect economics from things that feel like saving the planet, but they're tightly connected.
Well,
sure.
there's always value to be made in crisis. And if you can help the situation and alleviate the impacts of crisis, then that there you go. You have a business case. All of a sudden
Yeah.
that might not have existed before. So that's pretty awesome, man. That really
Yeah.
is, because I don't think a lot of people think about water, number one, as being something that's constrained. In California we have drought alerts all the time, and people still waste water like crazy. If you fly over LA basin area, you see each home with a pool. It's just friggin' ridiculous, and in the Central Valley, when we think about food, we don't necessarily think about the economics that the farmers, even the large ones, face in stock, and basically stocking our grocery stores, So,
Yeah. So
I think we take a lot of stuff for granted, and then it takes crisis to make that PowerPoint from 15 years ago all of a sudden make a hell of a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, they didn't believe us back then.
Yeah, we should have been doing, and then they're gonna go, man, we should have done this a long time ago.
Human beings.
How come no one
weird
told us
creatures.
this? We did.
We did
15 years ago, and then our
Yeah.
company went bankrupt because of you guys
Right.
not getting it.
Yeah, you're so right.
You guys are, there's there are so many brands that are still alive from 10 years ago that all they do is some sort of water monitoring, whether at the pump, within the pipe, within the system, within the irrigation system itself. Like it's almost, as you guys are talking about this, it's almost inexcusable to have, in this day and time, to not have visibility of the things that you can save money on by just having visibility. Just forget making money, saving, just that. Like if I can cut water by X, fertilizer by Y. Anyway, that's where my head went to, because these are the I had a lot of all good experiences, talking to farmers who have been doing this, for a long time, with the most analog of devices, because these folks really put things to the test. And I think ag and like in manufacturing is one of these things that you get found out whether you're garbage or you have a great product really quickly. This isn't a 12-month junior consultant $5 million thing to find out that you can save 23 cents. This is 4 days. This is going to work or it's not going to work. And I think ag is one of those spots.
Yeah. I would say, like the Thunderstruck system, it's no doubt we've been focusing more and more on ag and to your point, really on conservation, of resources, reduction of resource consumption, I think is the focus. And so, water's the big one. You mentioned chemicals, pesticides is another one. Fertilizer, reduce the use of that. That's another big one. And it's just like in a factory, you have inputs and stuff like that, and energy, and you want to, I want to make more widgets with less whatever. I want to grow more crops with fewer whatever. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And energy types into this as well. If your fields, if your orchards are already talking to you and telling you their state, then you don't have to roll trucks or ATVs out there, and you just save money on that and fuel and things like that. I mean, it's all little incremental things sometimes, right?
Yeah. Well, when a certain resource is constrained, though, then it becomes a big thing. It's not incremental, and I think that's the situation that we're coming into. If we buy into the hypothesis that the climate change issue is going to become a bigger and more perennial problem that we have, then that changes the economics of everything, So, but But
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? I think you got to blame it on the garbage trucks, right? People would much rather, well, or at least 1-year-olds would much rather watch videos of garbage trucks than some lecture by a MIT professor on IoT and how semiconductor technologies are advancing, how far into the edge we can take intelligence. So
yeah,
it's all, it's that garbage truck mentality that really is bringing humanity down.
Yeah,
I'm going to weave in,
and it's totally impacting our viewership.
I'm gonna weave this in on my next meeting, and I'm just gonna see if anyone catches it. Like, yeah, there's garbage trucks for 2 hours, and then just keep going. I'll see if anyone catches it.
I think that's a great idea. A friend of mine and we used to watch Wall Street all the time, and he would try to drop in Wall Street quotes in meetings. Like he would say, "That's the beauty of it, Gigi," or just, or somebody would piss him off, and it's like, "How many yachts can you ski behind? How much is enough?" Anyway, man. I know. But this is all good stuff, man. That's the weird thing, is that people, the average person, may read a quote that says agriculture accounts for 70% of water usage, and they're like, "Oh my God,
really? I thought it was my toilet.
We got to stop those guys from using all our water." And yet, the water is what makes food grow, and so it's an interesting deal. But if you can that's when you hear terms like precision agriculture. If you have sensors that are saying this is not only when you should water, but where, be as precise as you can. I know I read an article a few weeks ago, farther up towards whatever the delta is, closer to Sacramento, and this woman basically has rice paddies out there and is flooding acres and acres of land with water, literally flooding it. And people noticed that. People who are like, dying are going, "What?" It's interesting. Yeah. I hear that we may be shifting around the types of things we grow to different parts of the country based on rainfall and stuff,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And think about the impact that's going to have on wine country around the world. You're going to have microclimates that are totally I mean, even here in San Diego, it's been unusually humid. We usually don't have humidity. Now we have like a crap ton of mosquitoes. I mean, I don't know where they came from. We used to never get bit, but now, if I go outside in our courtyard, my legs will get ravaged by these mosquitoes that I have no idea where they came from.
You're probably going to get a phone call soon from the San Diego Chamber of Commerce saying, "Dude, you need to shut up. Don't let people know that the mosquitoes are here and the humidity arrived. We don't want them to think they're living in Florida or Louisiana or something."
Well, Florida is going to be underwater soon, so I mean, I don't think people are going to have options. They're still going to want to move to San Diego. So,
but this will be this premise of. So again, if we were just optimizing the system, and I have, non-biased intelligence, and I'm just going to go like, hey, I want to save water. So I'm going to look at water. We need water to grow things. And so I'm just going to look at who's growing what and what can we just grow somewhere else. Like, that's it, right? I have this is one of those things that a few will have to, I don't know, maybe suffer. It may be the word, for the better of the majority, because it's like, hey man, like we love hops, we love beer, and we love grapes, and we love wine, and we love all this food, but can you just grow it somewhere else? Can you want to flood a field for rice? That's phenomenal. Can you not do it in the state of California right now?
Yeah.
And right. And if the answer is no, because, the soil and the conditions, like, it only grows here, but I need all this water, then it's like, well, then maybe we can just get the rice from somewhere else. And I'm sorry, here's a check, because the majority, we need the water, man. Anyway, that's it would be so much easier if we can just code this in.
Yes.
In PowerPoint or Python, depending on on your
You
scales.
could just stop making almonds. That would be great.
That would be great.
For the almond milk.
Office space. You
For
got
the almond milk, Rob.
Yeah. Almond milk.
great.
How ridiculous is that? Almond, the most water intensive thing on the planet, the almond. Oh, let's make milk out of it. PC load letter. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That could be very, with no data, but that could be just a really good example. So what if tomorrow, what is the almond industry worth? I don't know. And how many people own it? It's probably going to be two families, 26 people own 90% of the almond trade in America.
You're probably right.
I'm just guessing. I have no clue, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, guys, it's all right. You're loaded. The $250 billion you have in the bank is going to last you 17 generations. Even with a crap investor wealth management, just stop it. Anyway.
Yeah, I might be wrong by saying this, but I mean, think about. I feel really bad for the farmers because probably about 90% of their value in the industry is their knowledge, and that knowledge is it's location specific. They know the quality of the land, they know the climate. There's some degree of certainty that they have about how the growing conditions will be year after year, right? Obviously there's going to be good years and bad years, but now we're in a situation where maybe on an ongoing basis, certain areas are just not optimal or even conducive to a certain crop. And so they're going to have to relearn everything. I mean, no, and I could be wrong. I have to profess, I am not an expert in agriculture other than the fact that I did get my level 1 in the quartermaster sommelier thing. So I do know a little bit about viticulture. But it's these farmers, they're not just like digging holes in the ground. I mean, they're very, very knowledgeable people, and each region has a history behind it that they know. And man, so I'm listening to you, Rob. I'm just going, man, this must just really suck for the industry. And if it gets worse, then there literally has to be an entire structural reset. Do you know what I'm saying? And then the farmers have to, whether you're small mom and pop type of farming, get up, or you're one of the big corporate behemoths, you have to reset everything,
Yeah, I mean, this is analogous to conversations have been had, over the decades, just with the whole climate thing, where this discussion of mass population migration going from some parts of the world to others because the wheels have totally come off where they live. Either it's too hot, water's gone, the arable land's gone, whatever, and they're going to places that are cooler. I would not be surprised if just to your point, in addition to, hey, maybe you should be growing different crops and the movement of farms, if something magical doesn't happen and we can't save the Central Valley of California, I would imagine those farmers, well, some of them are just going to go out of business, which is the worst possible scenario. But some of the mega corporate farms, you can imagine them relocating to other areas that have better water supplies and stuff like that,
Well, $20 per avocado. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Avocado toast was expensive. Just wait.
No, I'm getting depressed. For
all you kids out there who are taking Econ 101 and you wonder what causes inflation, it doesn't just happen. There's a reason behind everything. Yeah, it's called scarcity, supply and demand, right? All the stuff you want is harder to make and can't make as much of it, and so it costs more money. Yep.
And what's the best remedy for depression? Now that you guys are making me depressed as hell?
Scotch?
Go into the metaverse. Watching dump trucks, watching trash trucks.
Not dump truck. Well, actually, I think metaverse is the next phase after dump trucks.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, you had children's books, okay? You had, the little children's lullaby songs and, the wheels on the bus go round and round kind of crap. Then you went to dump trucks, thanks to YouTube. I mean, come on. Back in the day, how could you make money off of having an hour-long video with footage of dump trucks in all different cities from all different waste management companies? No one would buy it, right? Thanks to YouTube, dump trucks are a thing. And then now we have metaverse and all those things to treat our progressive depression as we run out of water and farmers have to scramble around the globe to find where to grow stuff.
So we will be totally wearing all this gear, kind of like if you read the book Ready Player One, and that's kind of like how you get into the metaverse maybe, and you'll have this better life because outside it's like you're living in some kind of post-apocalyptic wasteland, right?
And it's weird. This is becoming a very metaphysical discussion.
But also maybe this is how we talk about, let's save the planet. But the thing is, like, the planet will survive. It's gotten, hit by asteroids. The planet will be here as much as we're trying to screw it up. But maybe the metaverse is how we stop damaging, because we're plugged in and we think, we're
think you're having a normal life. Yeah.
Yes. And then the planet
doesn't know the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's it. I'm telling you, watch party. Wall-E, Idiocracy. Yeah. We need to do this.
Well, that's why people get so addicted to these games, right? I mean, the games are sort of this predecessor to this metaverse stuff. And when it becomes immersive, then people are going to get super addicted, especially to certain types of content. So
yeah. It's really funny.
The first internet business.
Yeah.
And if you ever worked at Yahoo and you got to see all the keyword searches, you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes. And just remember,
folks, it's called Yahoo again.
Yeah, but we want 1-year-olds to watch our show, so I'm not going to say anything.
No, but that's a good one to end, because full circle, Yahoo is called Yahoo once again.
What?
Oh, I thought it was just in Japan, or
no. So it went through the acquisitions, went through a few name changes, but it recently got divested from a big company that I may or may not work at, and it's now called Yahoo again. Anyway,
so when it was held captive by some other company, was it no longer called Yahoo?
No, it was known as name of the company, Media.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, now it's Yahoo. It's Yahoo again.
Wow.
Okay. People screw things up, and that's okay though. Just like remember when Neo met the architect, and he said the first version of the Matrix was sublime, but it was a complete disaster because it was too perfect, and so humans wouldn't accept the program because humans think that suffering is what life is all about. So we had to fix the Matrix.
Oh, gosh, that's crazy.
And so we may have to fix the metaverse. The first metaverse might be too nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that's how it's happened? I mean, think about the internet. It's evolved tremendously over time. Not only in technologically, but its applications and sort of its role.
Speaking of that, let's just take a moment to talk about Web 3.
The hell's that?
Because Web 3 is like the hot thing now, and it's battling for supremacy with the metaverse, actually. And for those of you kids out there listening in here, thought you were going to watch dump trucks. Web 3 is basically, it's trying to break it. It's kind of like, it's kind of like that old Apple commercial with the Olympian woman throwing the sledgehammer at the screen. A lot of people who feel like the internet's gone to hell in a handbasket because these giant black holes, data consuming things like Facebook and others have kind of screwed up the early notion of a fully decentralized internet, right? And web. And so Web 3 is trying to decentralize it again and add trust to it. And how are they going to do that? They're going to connect it to the blockchain.
I was going to say, don't say it. Don't say it. Because you said decentralized and trust. I'm like, don't say it.
We're gonna make idiocracy immutable.
Yes. So the
immutable idiocracy.
So all these people are like, what's the problem with the internet? And they're trying to break free and make it decentralized again and finally add trust to it because nothing's trustworthy. But here's where it gets weird, kids. I did my research. So it's not just any blockchain, it's Ethereum. Web3 will be tied into Ethereum. Well, here's the deal. Then I discovered that the guy who came up with Web3 and is the biggest advocate and has this Web3 foundation, he is also a co-founder of Ethereum.
Talk about
Raise
conflict of interest.
Oh my God. It's like the people are falling for it. There's all kinds of people talking about Web3 and trying to go into conferences now about how Web3 is going to save the internet.
No, immutable idiocracy. That is what's going to happen. And Lord knows if you're going to have the right to be forgotten for something stupid that you said or did or. The thing is you can't separate. You can't separate the technology from people, and I think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And we give technology way too merit, and we discount our impact on how we bring about applications that are actually not that great for humanity. Wow. Yeah. I don't know if the interweb is going to react well to that statement. I'm sure that there's going to be people who want to take my head off for saying that, but I don't care.
What else is new? just another week for you, man.
I know.
A new crowd of people wanting to take your head off.
Just don't water your lawn today, Leonard. If it's not yellow, you're part of the problem.
I only do it at night. No, we're growing pumpkin out in our backyard. I never knew that it was such a big vine, and so we have about watermelon. We have 4 watermelon thingies. I don't know, spuds or whatever, growing on the vine, and but they go brown, the leaves go brown. It's weird. Anyways, we water only at night. So
look, stop describing what you're growing in the yard before some weirdo goes into access some satellite imagery and goes, San Diego, because we said that, and then goes 4 watermelons, and then it's like, okay, there's 4. No, dude, this is how it happens. This is how they find you in the Matrix, right?
Yeah, but you know what? All those maps are like 4 years old, man. So good luck. We're not quite there yet. But yeah, circling back to metaverse before we wrap up here. I think. It's an interesting topic. It'll be maybe we'll have another discussion on how it interweaves with IoT. I think there are some interesting ideas, but if you're talking about simulation and all that stuff, I think you're off base, and that's just the way I feel. I think there are some interesting ways of using, metaverse frameworks in creating an overlay for a meta overlay, not like this visual, it's not like you're going to have like a friggin' Roblox or a Fortnite for your industrial IoT thing, but it could be sort of this meta layer that provides a interface or home for digital twins. I don't know. But
oh my God, dude, you just said a meta layer that provides an interface for digital twins.
Yeah, but
I
said it. So it makes sense.
You're trying to win the internet today, aren't you?
Dude, you're the one that brought up Web 3.0. What kind of BS is that? Give me a break. Holy crap. I get to make stuff up. I'm the architect. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
I'm certified. Exactly. I actually built shit.
Yes.
What's going on here? I'm the potty mouth. What the hell happened to this guy?
Yeah, that's 2 strikes today.
Two.
2 strikes.
Yeah. Am I really in a hops field or am I in the Matrix?
And on that note, by the way, David, you were the official outro guy because you did a really freaking great job last week. That was like pure genius.
God, so I'm going back to back. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Come on, we gave you a lot of material.
All right. Folks, it's about that time. We are out of coffee. We thank you once again for tuning in. And today on IoT Coffee Talk, which, by the way, you should like and subscribe right here, we started talking about the metaverse. And yes, we kind of ramble a little bit, but it's how we do things here because we bring it to you straight up. And this means there will be an episode where we're going to find someone in the community that wants to, get into the weeds and see where this metaverse and these layers and IoT intertwine or not. So thank you for watching. Tune in next week. Tell your friends about this show. And even if you don't know them, tell them anyway so they can subscribe. And we're going to see you here next week where we continue to solve real world problems, unfiltered, unsponsored IoT Coffee Talk. Peace out.
Say no to garbage trucks.
Say no to garbage trucks.
And say yes to beer.
Peace out.
Peace out.